be together, connect with you as a community, and we're grateful for this hour we spend. So I got my Buddy the Elf Christmas sweaters. I didn't inform Chip we were doing Christmas themes, so sorry.
No, this is just a snow shirt. We're going with snow shirt today.
Spencer just telling me he was hanging a 150-pound punching bag in his basement for Christmas
Right.
for his boys. Yeah, exciting.
Yes, really exciting. Hopefully exciting. Otherwise, I mean, yeah,
Who doesn't want to punch something for Christmas? That's great.
that's the idea. Instead of taking it out on the house and appliances and ping pong paddles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. Hey, so we are going to spend a few minutes today talking to a resource partner, Sam Ballard and Dr. Jared Tyre. We're grateful to have them on first as a guest. Then we'll do a bit of a recorded interview that Spencer did with Clifton, which was really well done. Right after we've held on to it for a few weeks after you guys served together in the Dominican. Just a little interview about them and Lightwave Dental. And then we're going to have one of our young dentists from this last year, Dr. Sweeten from Oregon. He's going to join us and talk about the new practice he's got, his dental journey, and how far he's been so far. So fingers crossed. It's a live show, so hopefully it all goes good. Sometimes I regret telling everyone what's going to be happening on the show before we start.
Then they hold you to it. Yeah,
that's good. Hey, let's just spend just 1 minute. I'm going to share with everybody my screen, and we're going to look at one thing that needs to be done ASAP. So here's the Crown Council website. Can you see that okay, Spence?
Yeah.
I'm going to back out here. So this is just my directory that we're looking at. If you are attending the annual event in Salt Lake City next month in January, there is a very important thing that needs to happen right now. So in your hub, you'll find this icon, the 28th annual event, that you'll want to view. And when you view it, it's right here at the very top. Complete your office's RSVP information. This is essential for everyone attending. It helps us, communicate with everyone better. We have to know your cell phone before you arrive for essential communication about what's happening in real time when you arrive at the event, as well as lunch and learns, right, Spence? Can you explain that? Right. What happens with that?
Absolutely. Lunch and learns, for those that don't know, on Friday and the Saturday while at the annual event, you break for lunch, you dish up your plate, and you go into a lunch and learn where our resource partners are presenting. And Stu can show you on here as well what to do to sign up for them, or at least see the list of them. And while Stu's going there, I would just say the easiest thing is via text message, you can simply send the word select to 72,000. Again, that is texting the word select to 72,000, and that will populate for you the option. It'll text you right back to select your lunch and learns that you need to sign up for.
Nice. Yeah, here's the list. You can't sign up on this website, but like Spencer said, the best place to sign up is right there from your cell phone.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So complete that. We need everybody to take care of that. And in 2 weeks, we're working on a bit of a survival guide for the annual event during the live stream. So that'll be a fun little presentation we're going to work on with Rach to help everybody and make sure we're all on the same page for annual event. Man, but we are inside 40 days. Can't wait to be with everybody here in Salt Lake. We got a lot of snow. Maybe Spence, talk about that. Is there still room to sign up for snow activities, or are we full?
We're full. Here's what we have. We have a morning and an afternoon session of snowmobiling up near Park City. It's pretty much full. We could fit some in the afternoon, maybe up to 5. But skiing is still an option to sign up for. We're taking a group up to Snowbird Ski Resort and skiing and eating lunch up there for the day. And this is on Wednesday, January 25th, the day before registration. So,
Okay. Nice. Very cool. All righty. Sounds good. Really grateful for everyone that's attending the annual event. It's our big annual gathering of all Crown Council members. Not only that, but our resource partners who will join us live. Just our opportunity to be together for the 28th time as a Crown Council membership. So looking forward to it. Very good. All right. I know we've got Dr. Tyre in the wings waiting to join us. I don't know about Sam Ballard or where he is. Maybe he'll join us here in a minute, but we're going to welcome Dr. Tyre into the portal. And we're going to talk all about a new exciting thing that Dr. Tyre and Sam have cooking. So let's do it. Let's see if we can get him to come in. Oh, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Just great. How about you?
Very good. We don't have Sam. Sam's not joined us yet, so you might be solo here for a bit. Can you handle it?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Sam will go. Well, he screwed up.
Hey, maybe Dr. Tyre, would you introduce? I know we've had you on before for Rivers of Hope, which is an incredible opportunity for Crown Council members, but we didn't spend any time talking about you or your practice. We were in a rush. You guys were leaving for the trip, like right there. So maybe just take a quick minute and introduce yourself, your practice, where you are, and maybe how you got connected to Crown Council.
Sure. Well, so I've been practicing currently in Salt Lake City, Utah, for the last almost 17 years now, and I practice out of Sugar House, same practice that I started in when I bought it right out of school. But that's where my Crown Council adventure started. I had met the Crown Council in dental school. It actually goes a little bit beyond that because I know the Anderson family really well. But I got involved officially during dental school way back when, and just never looked back.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And your team has been the recipient of many awards at the Crown Council annual event. You guys are always involved in Smiles for Life. Now you run Rivers of Hope. There is one thing that I love about Jared in general, but any Crown Council member, and that is the amount of effort that you put forth to engage in Crown Council is often the amount that and benefit that you get back. Would you agree, Jared? Is that kind of how you look at it?
Yeah, I think I have to really give credit to the Hammond family about this because I began to really engage with the Crown Council on a meaningful level because of motorcycle rides that were being held. And I'll never forget that first ride and feeling like, okay, I'm finally connected to this group of awesome people. I think my first year in the Crown Council, I was sort of feeling it out, wondering, okay, where's my place in all of this? And then just jumping in and getting involved, doing something that I'd never done before. I'd never been on a motorcycle in my life. And that opportunity to just go out, do something totally different, put myself out there, and then have an experience where you could just feel like people put their arms around you going, all right, newbie, we know that you are like maybe 3 miles an hour away from tipping over on this thing. So we're going to flank you, hold you up. There's a lot of great metaphors in that ride for me and a lot of things that I look back on and I think, oh my goodness, I learned so much about what it meant to be a new member of the Crown Council, what it means to be a fully participating member of the Crown Council, and what we can all do together when we have ideas and we bring those ideas to the group and then carry out something. It can be amazing how we can affect each other's lives. And so that's why I've been a member and continue to be a member. And it's been a great experience.
Cool. Thank you, Jared. Very good. So you've got something cooking.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. It's been an awesome experience, and I wish Sam was here because, and he'll get on here in just a second, I'm sure. Okay. But we have, I'll kind of give you the backstory really quick. I was in the Dominican Republic with Sam, and Sam, while he's not here, I can kind of toot his horn here. I had talked to multiple individuals from the dental lab community about the possibility of coming to the Dominican Republic and offering up removable partial dentures, removable prosthetics to people. We'd always get people in our clinic time that would want us to come and replace multiple teeth that they were missing. And we just couldn't make that happen in our clinic because we just didn't have the means to do it. And Sam, he raised his hand and said, yeah, I'm going to try this out and see what we can do. And I'll never forget that first year with him and how hard he worked to just get out 5 or 6 cases that day. It was an all-day labor of love. Through lunch, they just worked their fingers to the bone and changed the lives of individuals. In fact, it became such a hit. We just had too many people to count that wanted to have Sam offer services for them at our clinic. Anyway, long story short, one day Sam and I, this was a couple years after that initial visit, Sam and I were talking about what the next step was for the lab. And I said, wouldn't it be great if we could just bring like our entire office here? Like, what if we could bring a scanner to the Dominican Republic and a small milling unit? We could actually do indirect restorations for patients. And Sam goes, yeah, it'd be a great idea. That'd be really cool. And little did I know that in the background, he was starting already to talk to engineers and try to feel out the best thing that he could do to help make that a reality. Because nobody wants to bring, well, one, it's really hard to get through customs sometimes with a lot of medical equipment there.
Mm-hmm.
But two, nobody wants to bring their $40,000, $50,000 scanner on an airplane, trust that to Delta, and then, have it be lost in customs, or somebody goes, I don't know what this is, but we're keeping it for a while, Yeah. So we were trying to come up with an idea as to how that could become portable and, not as expensive. Sam found the guys to build it. And before I knew it, all of a sudden now we're thinking, okay, if we were to build a scanner and it was to be as inexpensive as we think it might be able to be, maybe this mission becomes not just, can we bring scanning to the Dominican Republic and can we make crowns in the middle of a sugarcane field, but could we also get all of dentistry to kind of make this happen? And the problem that we saw and what we didn't realize when we were researching this was how few of dentists, even though the technology is superior to impression material, we just didn't realize how few dentists were actually taking advantage of this opportunity. So we started to do a little research and try to figure out, why aren't dentists using scanners? They're available all over the place. And this was just maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But what we found out was it was cost prohibitive for a lot of dentists who hadn't established themselves, who didn't come out of school with a lot of debt. Maybe they're associates in a practice that just didn't want to see their way forward with using that kind of technology. Some of them just, frankly, just couldn't make that monthly payment or just couldn't outlay the cash. So we started to realize that was another issue. So we've been working hard on how we can make that happen and trying to create a scanner that's affordable, that's portable, that's easy to use, open platform, that kind of thing. So we came up with the Ori scanner.
Very cool. Should I show the web? I've navigated to the website, but maybe talk about Jared while I show a picture of it. What sets it? I don't know a lot about scanners, but you do. Maybe talk about why it's different. What sets it apart as a scanner?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see there's Sam. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Well,
how are you?
We're good. Hey, Sam.
We're just wrapping up, Sam. Thanks for joining.
Connectivity issues. Gotta love that.
All good.
Hey, Stuart just asked what sets Ori apart as far as a scanner. And I was going to answer that clinically. And then, Sam, you fill in here. But I think what sets it apart clinically is that it is definitely one of the smallest scanners out there. It's lightweight, it's easily maneuverable in a patient's mouth. It's open platform. The software is simple to navigate. You can download the STL files very easily for the use that you'd like to use it for. So I think in general, it's got some great qualities to it. I've been scanning for probably the last 12+ years of my career. And I've used all sorts of scanners. I was the first iTero scanner here in Salt Lake. So I know what it is that bugs me about certain things with scanners and what I love about certain scanners. And we've taken the best of everything of the scanners that I've used, including iTero, Trios, and we've put it into the Ori, and we're moving forward with it. Sam, what did I miss?
Honestly, I don't know much more I could add, but maybe I'll add one or two things. I mean, as a laboratory owner and being in the lab space and CAD CAM and dental CAD design, obviously to me, the most critical piece of this clinically, right, to set us apart was the accuracy of the scanner, right? And I can say that between Jared and I and the other clinicians on the team and our engineers, we've been able to successfully achieve that goal to make what we found and clinicians report has found to be one of the most accurate scanners on the market. So that's, to me, that was the biggest win here, was just to make sure that a clinician can depend upon this piece of equipment to achieve accurate margins and to achieve the best dentistry they possibly can. So that's what the only plug that I would add to what Jared said.
Very cool. Sam, before you came on, Jared just took 1 minute to introduce himself. I think that would be important part of this discussion, is explaining who you are and why that background matters to the scanner.
Yeah. So Sam Ballard, I've been in the laboratory industry for about, I think, coming on 12 or 13 years now. My uncles are dentists. They kind of pulled me into the industry. They're Crown Council longtime members out in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, more specifically. But and yeah, I got started off in CAD CAM, right? I started a small milling center in 2010 now. So it's been a while. And so my background is in architectural design, but my uncles were, hey, come and use that CAD and design experience with designing teeth. And so, that's kind of the funny beginnings and interesting beginnings of how I got connected to the dental industry, and obviously got introduced to Steve Anderson and have loved being a part of the Crown Council since then, as we've grown as a company and morphed as a company into a full service lab, probably 7-8 years ago, and transitioned away from just being a milling center. But yeah, my roots are in CAD design. My roots are in, dental technology, right? I mean, that's where I really got my start. And so, and then we've continued to love and I have a passion, I guess to give an introduction to myself, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our love for Smiles for Life and doing what we can to support the Smiles for Life trips. Jared and I have spent a lot of time, a lot of nights planning and note taking, and figuring out a way that we can bring, laboratory services on these remote DR trips. And so, these are just some passions and loves of mine. And my background is, formally in the laboratory space. So
very cool.
Hey, Stuart.
Yeah.
You asked at the beginning of this about why the Crown Council, what were my beginnings. And this is a great example of how the Crown Council brings people together that maybe would have never met. I mean, Sam sat down next to me at a lunch during a Crown Council annual event 10 years ago, Sam?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Just sat down. Heather and I were sitting there eating, and he just sits down and he goes, "Hey, I'm Sam Ballard." I said, "Yeah, I'm Jared Tyre. Let's talk." And that's how this started. Literally, it was lunch, and I'll never forget that.
And what's funny is I was like 23 at the time. Felt totally out of place, and not out of place, but I was like, man, I love it here. This is great. But so many people were older than me and so on. And Jared just seemed like a very friendly face that I could sit next to and pick up a conversation. Yeah, he was kind and just chatted with me. I think we chatted for a few hours.
Yeah.
You know, Jared, that's where it all started.
That is it.
Nice. Shameless plug for going and sitting in the corner at the annual event. Don't
That's
talk to
right.
anybody. You gotta
Yeah.
don't reach out. You gotta
Yeah, you never know who you're going to meet. You might end
Yes.
up developing a scanner together.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Hey, well, maybe let's talk about how the scanner can get into the hands of Crown Council members and how that looks and what's the next step if somebody says, I would love to try this scanner. What next?
Absolutely, I can answer that. So obviously go straight to the website or call me, you know, or call Jared. I mean, you can do any of those three things. We'll make sure that you're set up. But, you know, right now we actually ran a really great introductory deal for the first 25 Crown Council members, and that has sold out so fast that we've extended it to another 25 members. But so there is a specific website to go to, a landing page. I think it's oriscanning.com/Crown Council, Crown-Council, something like that. So that's where you can go if you want to reserve at that introductory price. But also, like I said, you could call me or Jared, email me or Jared, and we can give you more info, and we can schedule a demo with either either ourselves or one of our team members. So either way,
Very cool.
reach out.
So cool.
Jared, maybe you can answer this question about Clinicians Report. Why have they jumped on board with ORI so soon?
You know, that's an interesting question in the story. Sam can tell you about the initiation of that contact, but they were so excited about the accuracy of the scanner and the simple nature of its software. So when they started doing their scans with it and testing it, they used very specific types of models that they've used to test other scanners. And in particular, they used this one model that they had prepared specifically to see if a scanner could pick up the details of a margin that was cut so thin. We call them in dentistry, we call them feather edge margins, and deep into a subgingival space, so deep into a space that would be tough to pick up. And ORI picked up that margin so well, better than anything that they had seen to date. And we were really excited about that. In fact, when we brought them the scanner, from their discussion with us was, we thought you were bringing us a little prototype here to kind of look at and see, maybe we could give you some suggestions on what to do better. We didn't expect a world-class scanner to land in our labs that we can fully test right now. So we had kind of done our due diligence and our homework with our engineers and told them exactly what we needed to see based upon our previous scanning experiences. And we delivered. I think Clinicians Report is really excited about this project, especially that it's made in America. That's one of the things that we're really proud about ORI, and that is that it's 100% produced in America.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sam. No,
I was just gonna add another kind of funny story if there's a minute. But so I was studying, finishing my degree as I was trying to build and grow our laboratory, right? And so I've kind of have an interesting history in that way. But I was studying at a local university right next to Clinicians Report, and so this was probably 5 years ago that Jared and I first had this conversation. We started doing the research and, had the audacity to ambition to develop our own scanner. And one of the first steps that we did after our initial research and so on, as a student, I kind of pulled this, I was doing night classes and kind of doing school part-time as I was a business owner. But I was like, I'm going to pull the student card and I'm going to go to Clinicians Report and pick their brain and see what they can tell me, if they're going to tell me that this is just a crazy, silly idea, and just get some understanding. And so over 5 years ago, I met with Tim, their chief scientist, Tim Palmer, amazing guy, an amazing clinical team. And it was awesome that they kind of opened their arms to me and my fellow classmates that were working on this project. And Tim and the whole science team, just were there waiting for us, and we got to ask them all these questions and all this stuff. And it was interesting. Tim and I kind of somewhat kept in touch over the last 5 years as things have gone on. And yeah, Tim, to his astounding surprise, I mean, he was stoked that this small Utah company and, this startup was coming and knocking back on the door and said, "Hey, remember 5 years ago when we came and talked to you? We have a scanner now." And again, his thought process was, he was expecting a prototype and something that just was kind of almost there or maybe there. And anyways, it was actually, I'll never forget when Tim did that scan of that. I mean, it's real, knife edge, feather edge margin surrounded by gum tissue. And he just looked up and was like, "We've never seen a scanner do that before at this, And so anyways, just a fun and interesting story of how things happen over time.
Very
Come
cool.
full circle. So
Nice.
Circle.
All right. Well, what's next? What's happened? What can we expect from Ori in the future? 2023. What's going on?
Jared, what do you think?
Well, clinically speaking, we're working on some great advances. We don't want to just be the entry-level scanner. We want to be playing out there with the major scanner companies, and so we're going to give them a run for their money. Our technology is improving it all the time. We're looking right now at improving processing speed. We're going to be looking at even better results with resolution. We're working with our engineers on improving all of that, improving software design. We're reaching out to other companies. For example, we're working with Trays right now specifically, and trying to make sure that all of our scanner users are able to not just use it for fixed prosthetics, but for orthodontics and clear tray aligner therapy. So we're excited about that. We're looking at the applications that we can make in the airway industry right now, and what we can do to help with diagnostics as well as with treating patients with those types of issues. So we're kind of all over the map with a bunch of ideas and working plans. And, given that 5 years ago, we just had an idea and we thought, let's go. And Sam contacted a few folks and did all the legwork and made it happen. I can only imagine what the next 5 years are going to bring for Ori. So stay tuned.
Very cool.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add to that is as clinicians and laboratory owners that are behind this, and we are not satisfied with. We will always be pushing the envelope for accuracy, speed, ease of use. And so we're going to constantly be developing and pushing the technology forward. We're fully committed to that, and want to better dentistry and make it more available. I'd also say a big goal of ours is to continue to make this more and more affordable for every dentist, right? And we want to be the catalyst to allowing for, obviously there's always going to be a use case for polyvinyl siloxane, as we call it, the goop, right? But there'll always be some purpose for that in some use case. But we want to see the industry move forward and go fully digital, and we believe that Ori can do that. So yeah, totally agree, Jared.
Hey, Stu.
Yeah, go ahead, Chip.
Yeah, let me add, from a Crown Council perspective, and Ori being super involved in the upcoming months, and for all of those that are listening and watching, you can see this live at the annual event, which we are so excited to have it all being presented there at the annual event, but then also for a full hour live during one of the lunch and learn days that it's going to be presented. For the new young dentists that are listening here, and for those that are just barely out of the new young dentist program, Ori is going to be a big part of the new young dentist program going into 2023, and providing presentations throughout the year being involved with the New Young Dentists. So a lot of opportunities for Crown Council members to see, feel, touch, be involved with Ori and get to know him better.
Nice. Well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you both for being on today.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having us, Stuart. Thanks so
You
much,
bet.
Spencer. Good to see you both.
Great
Okay.
to see you guys.
Thanks, Ori. Thanks, guys.
All
See you
right.
now.
Okay, bye.
That's
right,
really
Chip.
exciting.
Yeah, very. And when we post the live stream to the Crown Council library, we will for sure include all the information needed to connect with Ori, ask Sam or Ori questions, and then order your own through Crown Council. So very cool. Nice work. All righty. We've got a few minutes here before Dr. Sweeten joins us. So I'm going to play this interview that Spencer had. Spence, maybe just introduce Clifton before we play the video.
Absolutely. Chief Medical Officer of Lightwave Dental. Lightwave Dental, one of our largest DSOs inside the Crown Council and second largest from a donation perspective into Smiles for Life in 2022. Clifton is just an awesome person and was awesome to work with at in the Dominican, and brought roughly 25 or so team members to the Dominican for our Smiles for Life trip. So
very cool. And they're planning on doing the same. They raised over $140,000 for Smiles for Life as a group. I think we talk about that. You guys talk about that for a minute, but 13-minute interview here with Clifton. We'll play it and then finish up with Dr. Sweeten when he comes in. So here we go. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep, perfect. Hey, welcome everybody, and we are so excited. Today we have a special guest on with us, Dr. Clifton Cameron, and Clifton is the Chief Dental Officer of Lightwave Dental. Clifton and I were just recently together in the Dominican Republic. So Clifton, welcome to the Go Live today.
Hey, appreciate you having me and good to see you again. Feels we've only been back for a couple weeks, but hey, good to see you. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And Clifton and I had just an incredible time in the Dominican together, and we brought him on to talk and share a little bit about his experience there. I thought one thing that was so cool was the team that you also brought with Lightwave. And for our Crown members to know, Lightwave Dental, how many total offices do you have now?
Yeah, so Lightwave in a nutshell, we're a dental leadership organization, 82 offices, dentist owned, dentist run. And, this was an initiative that we really adopted from one of our long-term partners, Bruce Hutchinson and Mike Gorman with Smiles for Centerville, longtime Crown Council members and longtime Smiles for Life campaign. The charity initiative, of course, with the Whitening Project there. So this was something that we really adopted from them and got really serious about it and how we could scale and ultimately do good. So that was something that was a huge, huge initiative for us last year.
So awesome. And on that point, we mentioned Mike Gorman and Bruce Hutchison, longtime Crown Council members. Everybody knows their names. And so it says something about the Lightwave group for them to be a part of the Lightwave group today. And so on that note, we had Dr. Gorman with us in the Dominican as well. And Clifton, you were practicing too there in the Dominican. So Clifton was one of our practicing doctors in clinic every day, just crushing it. I mean, so busy. It was so busy. We served 367 patients during the time there.
Yep.
So how was it being back in clinic?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been a while since I've been on one of these type of trips. And first of all, to the Smiles for Life team, yourself and everyone, it was clearly the best run that I had ever been on. And then, just thinking about the humanitarian effort there, it was also, where we were in the Dominican Republic, flew into Santo Domingo, stayed about an hour away. And each day we had an hour to 2 hour ride, including one day we actually had an hour ride and then an hour and a half ride on the back of a pickup truck through the mountains into the villages. And, areas of just abject poverty that I had never seen before in my life, even compared to trips to Jamaica and Bolivia and Peru. And, these just incredible souls, incredible people that are there to support us, are there to obviously, welcome us, but also there to allow us to treat them and their families. But, these people were so happy, right? I mean, they're so happy, they're in their spot and they're happy that we're there. And they're only making $1 to $1.50 a day, just working in these sugarcane fields and everything that is around them. And all the stuff that we certainly take for granted back here in the States, it was just so good to have that perspective. So for me, it was, like you said, I had to knock the dust off a little bit, but by the time I got the restorative and the surgical aspect going, so awesome to be able to treat almost 400 team members. Probably one of my favorite things is once we saw the volume of people that were actually showing up, we had 6 docs with us and we were cranking. We actually started running 2 chairs, after day one. And of course it was 90 degrees and we were sweating and, but man, it was long days, but were they just so worth it to be able to ultimately do good. And of course, what I always tell people is, you get down there, you're providing the services. We think that we're giving to them, but having a couple of weeks to come back, I mean, just how it's already changed my life, right? My perspective, that wake up call, head down, day-to-day grind, right? Certainly I received more from that trip than ultimately I was able to deliver. And I think that is something that I will always cherish and I will always have in my memory. So as far as the team goes, we had 19 team members total from the Lightwave group that made it down there, plus others that actually ended up paying their own way. So I think our total Lightwave team was about 30 down there. And, same feedback from our team as well. Just many of our team members had never been on a humanitarian mission before, much less one to provide, much needed dental and oral healthcare services. So same feedback that we've gotten from the team. We actually had a little, once we got back, we did a little debrief call with our group and, to see the level of involvement for 2023, right? Everyone's just like, oh my gosh, I had no idea it was going to be this amazing and this, exciting, and what a week. I want to go back again. And so we had a little debrief to make sure that we can even expand this hopefully for next year and the years to come.
Oh man, that was just perfect, Clifton. We can almost wrap up right there. That was so good. But I have some more questions for you and the team. So having 30 of Lightwave's team members there was an incredible experience. I want to mention the participation of Lightwave, not only in that trip, but in Smiles for Life, the campaign in general. We are thrilled to recognize Lightwave as a major Smiles for Life partner. And in 2022, in this year, they were the second biggest provider that donated into Smiles for Life. Clifton, talk about those numbers and also talk about just the team rally and drive and of Smiles for Life within Lightwave.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, it was, such a big initiative for us, kind of setting the goals in 2021 so we could execute in 2022. Historically, maybe 4 or 5 of our offices would participate in the whitening campaign every year. But we really got serious about our ability to be more altruistic, our ability to give back, not only internationally, but also locally. And so we had our first ever leadership conference in DC back in February of this year. And it was at that point, we had 450 of our leaders in the organization there, all of our doctors. And so we went from literally 4 offices a year to, we had 45 of our 65 GP offices participate in the campaign, which of course led to almost $150,000 raised through, those months, right? The Smiles for Life campaign. And then Lightwave, we threw a $25,000 match on top of it. So, it brought us to almost $175,000 of donation this year. And we're a hashtag competitive group. So we were certainly looking at Mortensen, and saying, hey, hold on, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. So maybe we'll be able to get there next year. But yeah, and again, to hear the stories from the offices as well, the social media explosion that happens through that, the patient involvement, the team involvement. Yeah, certainly, there's the aspect of time and chair space and things like that, but we were able to really get around that by presenting that why, right? To say, hey, here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it. Not only are we sponsoring this great campaign, but we're also sponsoring, 19, 20, 30 of our team members to go back into these villages and make all of this happen for these people. So it became really a company initiative, and really ties to our mission of being a dental leadership organization.
Man, that is awesome. Well, congratulations on 2022, and we will look for huge things in 2023 with Smiles for Life and the campaign again. It's just so awesome. Just a couple more questions, Clifton, as we prep to wrap up, and that is around team and team unity. What would you say is driving the success inside of Lightwave today? I saw it while working with you and your team in the Dominican. Mm-hmm. It was, as you mentioned a second ago, head down, hardworking, but fun, an outgoing, fun group. And I would suggest that it is very similar inside your offices and overall Lightwave community and culture today. Talk a little bit about just the culture that is inside of Lightwave that is making Lightwave a success.
Yeah, we our Lightwave community, we have what we call our 4 major events. We have a founder shareholder doctor group, we have a hygiene group, we have our leaders event once per year or every other year. And those major events for us are just so key to making sure that we are, on the other side of COVID, where we all had to live in a virtual world, right? Making sure that we are keeping this kind of in-person cadence across the 4 states where we operate here in the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast. That said, it does for us go all the way down to local leadership, right? That is the power of us having our doctors, owning Lightwave Dental, right? So we have practice managers and partners and owners, of course, in all of our offices. And, to me, that is really where it begins and ends. One of the things I thought was really awesome down in the Dominican, and it just mimicked what we do every day in our Lightwave offices, is the concept of a morning huddle. Very simple, very basic, but we have morning huddles at 6:30, 6:45, 7:30 a.m. to where we're preparing for the day, and we're using our tools and resources and building some energy. 2 of my favorite core values at Lightwave and Carolina's Dentist, my group, are caring and ultimately funnergetic. Making sure that we're bringing that energy every single day to our patient experiences and ultimately to our practices to elevate, of course, our patients, right? Our paying patients, right? That are actually coming in and trusting us with their care. But then to have it also, Dr. Allison Lesko, who was our team leader from Fort Collins, Colorado. What an amazing leader she is, and she was for us down in the Dominican. But every morning on those 4 days of clinical care, you remember, Spencer, right? We would put our hands in after we had our morning huddle, and the word was Equipo, right? And that was our team rallying charge for Equipo, let's rock and roll, and so it's that same energy, right? And I loved that about the experience down there is, we really came together as a team. We probably got a little personal too, right? When you start to involve drinking the water and some bathroom issues, right? But that comes with that comes with the territory, of course. But so no, yeah, I think that's really how we do it. It's all about engagement. It's all about community. And for us, it's all about events and making sure that we're elevating our culture through great partnerships like this.
Wow. Clifton, It has been a pleasure to have you on. We are so excited to have you part of the Crown Council, joining us in Smiles for Life. We look forward to many years of success to come and service as we join forces and move forward together. Thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely. Hope to see everyone soon.
Nice. Very cool. What a great guy. We've been with him a few times now, especially at their live event. And yeah, you had close quarters with Clifton. So really cool to have such a great partner and member with us. Anything else, Chip, to add from that interview?
No, I would say it is what it showed there. They are great. Clifton is a great leader, and look forward to years to come with Lightwave.
Yeah, I agree. Very cool. All right, Dr. Colt, he is in the waiting room. This is one of our new young dentists. Dr. Colt had a procedure this morning, which he didn't know if he was going to make it in time. So really excited that he did make it on time. He's been in the waiting room for about 10 minutes. What is up?
Hey, Stu, how are you?
Tell us about your day. What's been going on?
Couple of new patients, couple of fillings, hygiene. Nothing too crazy, but
working hard right up here till the holiday, man. Nice work.
Right. That's right. Well, we're taking off next week between the holidays, so
very cool.
We got to make sure we get everybody in this week.
Yeah. Dr. Sweeten joined me last year at the Young Dentist program. That's where we met. We got to spend obviously the annual event together, and then 2 weekends in Salt Lake City. Super impressed by him and his leadership and who he is, what he's built in his own practice. Maybe we could start there, Dr. Sweeten. Tell us a bit about your practice, just your background, kind of your history. Can you do that?
Sure. So real quick, I grew up in Southeast Idaho. I grew up in Rexburg, and went to school there, started college there, did a 2-year mission in Portugal, and then back to school and finished at BYU Idaho before I started dental school. I went through the IDEP program, which is Idaho's collaborative with Creighton out of Omaha, Nebraska. And then from dental school, I moved to northern Montana, kind of worked in a community health clinic for a couple of years, then went back home to Rexburg and worked as an associate for about 2.5 years. Had hopes that maybe something would develop with that doctor to where we could stay and maybe become a partner. But the longer we were there and saw that probably wasn't in the cards, we started looking kind of in the general area, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and then found a practice in Eastern Oregon, just across the state line from Idaho, in Ontario, Oregon. And that practice seemed to fit kind of what we were looking for, something that wasn't huge, something that was small enough we felt like we could jump right in and kind of learn and grow. And so that's kind of what we've done. I've been here for about 3.5, almost 4 years, in March. And after being in practice here for a year, kind of when COVID hit, and we had a couple months, like a lot of people, where we were closed, had to figure out how to navigate that. This year has been kind of the first year I felt like we've got pieces together where I felt like we were growing a little bit, getting new patients and starting to build an online reputation through our Google reviews and whatnot. Nice. So that's been important for us. But yeah, and now we're kind of ending this year and kind of looking back at what we've been able to do this year, trying to make projections and plans for next year. Nice. But yeah,
very cool. What would you say?
Directly answer your question or not?
No, that was good. What would you say you've learned? Like if you were going to tell young dentists that are kind of on the same trajectory as you, what have you learned building the practice from being in those other practices? I mean, how would you do anything different? Has this been a good path that you've been on, or how would you change what's happened?
I think probably a lot of people would agree that it's hard to say what you might change because it might have put you in a different place. So certainly it's taught me the things that I needed to learn, but I think if anything, things that I've learned are that there's challenges and kind of ups and downs in everything. I knew when I came out of school that I wanted to be a practice owner. I felt like there were benefits to that, but I wasn't sure if I felt confident enough to try to tackle that and the clinical side of things all at once. Looking back, I think even when we had 5 years under our belt working, like certainly I felt more confident in the clinical, but there's always going to be challenges. And so I might have tried to jump into ownership earlier, just because it takes time to build a practice and to figure out what it is that you really have a passion for. And so the sooner you can jump in and kind of get your feet on the ground that way, I think the sooner you can figure that out. So
Nice.
if I was going to change anything or something that I've learned, I would say maybe just be less intimidated by it and just find good people to surround yourself with. You know, it's good to have help. People like Crown Council or the mentors or the mastermind groups. And maybe if I had found Crown Council earlier, or if Crown Council had found me earlier in that path, maybe I would have made some different decisions that way. But yeah, I think that would just be it. I mean, it's always going to be a challenge, whether you wait for 10 years or you just jump right in. There's kind of a baptism by fire when it comes to some things. So maybe just jump in and do it.
Nice. Where are you right now in Smile Design? I know that you've joined with Kois, right? You're working with that
I've
program.
done some, of course.
Yeah. Where are you there with your just your education and learning about Smile Design?
Yeah. Kind of still, I would say, at the beginning. I mean, I have done quite a few things in the last 2 or 3 years since I became an owner. Gave me a little bit more freedom to kind of pursue some of those things. I don't feel like I get as much practice, as many opportunities to apply a lot of it. And so that has kind of led me to maybe not continuing to take as many classes as I'd like until some of that changes. I'm not sure how else to say that. So I've done 2 or 3 Kois classes. I did take Dr. Hornbrook's occlusion class, signed up to take the functional aesthetics this next year. Done some composite veneer courses with Dr. Marshall Hanson. He's down in kind of the Salt Lake area as well. So yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate the artistry that's there, and that's something that I would love to do more of. It's just developing the practice to be that, so that you can do more of it.
Great.
So yeah, kind of still at the beginning, but wanting to pursue that as much as I can.
Social media is looking good. I was stalking your Smile Designs yesterday.
Yeah,
So
I've got some stuff I need to put on there. It kind of comes in waves. I get 2 or 3 cases and then I can post some stuff, and then I don't have anything for a while, so it kind of goes dead.
Yeah, it looks good. Very
But
cool.
we've got a couple ones that have happened in the last few months that I need to get put on there. So
Nice.
that's one way you can attract patients, is through social media. I think in our rural community, a lot of it still is through just our Google reviews and word of mouth.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, what's
but yeah,
next? What's coming up for 2023? Any big plans you want to share?
So we've got the Crown Council event. So we have our team coming to that. Last year I went, by myself. So this year I've got my team going with us. Got functional aesthetics is supposed to happen February and March. If we can nail down a patient, that's kind of been the elusive part. We've had some that are kind of close, but they may not be ideal candidates. And so we've had to do some of that stuff in our own office. I think, yeah, I mentioned trying to just find opportunities to do more of that kind of work. So I've kind of toyed with the idea of driving to Boise, finding somewhere to maybe work on Fridays and find an office that may be looking for some help that way. So that may be in the cards as well. Otherwise, just trying to build our practice and reputation so that it provides as many opportunities to grow and develop as we can. And then as time and money allows, dive into some of those other courses as well. Get back to COIS. Maybe go to the AACD meeting. I wouldn't mind going to Texas for that this year. But we'll see. So
Nice.
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Any questions, Spence, for Dr. Sweeten?
Man, so good to get to know you and see you coming through the ranks from young dentist to now just crushing your own practice. It's so awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like I was maybe not the oldest person in the young dentist, but maybe the most out of school oldest dentist. So
Yeah,
I kind of
just
was
don't let 'em know. You
envious
just
slightly of
yeah.
what's that?
You just don't let them know. No one knows. They just
Yeah, no, I still have all my hair. I still try to stay looking young.
Nice.
But no, I think one of the thoughts was just on that. I mentioned, if Crown Council was in the cards earlier, if I had come across it earlier, that jumping into that, I started to say I was maybe slightly envious of those that already were starting on that path, just out of school or in the first couple of years, because I know I've done lots of things through coaching, working with other people, and just kind of already feeling like they're getting a jump start on that, rather than going through some of the stuff that maybe I did. And again, not that I regret going through it, but sometimes feeling like, well, you get a little bit of a head start when you get surrounded by the right people and kind of get headed that way. So certainly would encourage anyone to get involved with Crown Council, do the I want to say accreditation or the qualification. Yeah.
Yep.
Do the qualification through Crown Council and get your team on board. And young dentists, obviously, that's a good place to start as well. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
been great.
Grateful
Yeah,
to
we
have
appreciate
on.
you guys.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah,
you
thank
soon.
you.
We'll see you soon in Salt Lake.
In January.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Definitely. Thanks for
Cole.
having me. Appreciate
You
it,
bet.
Stu.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah. Take care.
See ya.
Yeah. Well.
Tough waters to navigate, man. Those young dentists have a lot on their plate, and it's fun when they find mentors and friends inside this group to help them along. So very cool. All righty, Chip. Well,
man,
that's it. Hour went fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas to everyone. That's
We've
right.
we got a great program next week. We're going to have Eagle U on, Taylor Lowe from Eagle U. We're going to have a whole hour devoted to that program, learning about who they are, what they do, people that have been through the program. So it'll be a great live show. So we'll see you next week.
All right.
All right, man.
You
See
guys.
ya.